That foreign aid package that has been passed was debated for months. So why is it so important for the U.S. to continue to support countries at war? Michael O'Hanlon joins us live this morning. He's been following these topics as a senior military analyst at Brookings. He's also the author of Military History for the Modern Strategist. And Michael joins us live this morning. How are you, my friend?
Tom, good to see you. Fine, thanks.
I appreciate it. Now, this package, Michael, has been talked about for months. How much of an impact did Iran's attack last week have on making this thing finally get passed?
You know, it's a great question. What different factors went into this? And I think you're right, certainly, that the acute sense of Israel being under threat is always a galvanizing force in American politics, even if there is disagreement about whether Israel's handling Gaza correctly. But also, I feel that, to give Speaker Johnson credit, he's been juggling sort of an impossible set of tasks, trying to stay on Donald Trump's good side and at the same time keep his caucus together and at the same time do what's right for Ukraine. And he found a way. And I wasn't so sure he could. But I think it took, part of it was just playing the process out long enough to give people the opportunity to see that if we kept dithering, Ukraine would lose. And that began to become apparent in recent weeks.
Ukraine is a big part of this, and a lot of conservative Republicans are not happy about what was included in this bill for Ukraine. The Republican Party under Ronald Reagan used to be hawks on Russia. Michael, what has changed there?
Well, obviously, the Republican Party says that the Mexico problem, the border crisis, fentanyl, et cetera, that these are greater concerns for most Americans. But also, I really think we cannot underestimate the role of Donald Trump, who, of course, had a liking for Vladimir Putin, had a disliking for the Ukrainians. This all got into his concern about Hunter Biden. And this has become an unusually personal and political issue within Trump world, which then spilled over into MAGA world more generally. So I think there's a substantive argument, which is somewhat serious, and people like J.D. Vance make it well. Why do you want to spend so much more on Ukraine than you do on the border where fentanyl is coming across and killing 100,000 Americans a year? That's a fair question to ask. But then there's also this personal element that I think is very much of a Trump effect.
But, Michael, if you look at the clock and the calendar, the Ukrainians know that this country is facing an election in November. And based upon how that election turns out, they could be looking at a very different situation moving forward on future aid. How important is for the Ukrainians in the next few months to make real progress in repelling the Russians?
Well, it's crucial, but I also think there's a chance that if Donald Trump were elected, that he might find himself ultimately giving some help to Ukraine, because he has claimed he's got a compromise peace deal in mind that he could impose in 24 hours, which seems a little far-fetched. But let's just assume that his peace deal is something that could be imposed quickly. That would imply some kind of a ceasefire line along the current line of control. And, the Russians may not be happy with that. So if Donald Trump tries to negotiate that and try to essentially impose that on the parties, he may find that it's Vladimir Putin who refuses him, even more than President Zelensky. And at that point, would Trump really stay loyal to Putin? I don't know. I think there's a chance that a Trump presidency could wind up at least doing the bare minimum to help keep Ukraine afloat. But you're right. Perception on, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, under that scenario, though, could things get even bloodier if they're trying to draw a line in the sand wherever that agreement might wind up?
It depends mostly on Putin at that point. If he feels like time and, demographics are on his side, that and politics and political will are on his side, he may just decide to keep fighting this thing World War I style and, inching along the current line of control. Yeah. But he may also decide enough's enough. He's got 18% of Ukraine right now, and let's take a deal.
Michael, we're flat out of time. Michael O'Hanlon joining us live this morning from Brookings. We appreciate it.